Hey, what's up? Zach here, and let's talk best basketball shoes for chronic ankle sprainers or just for ankle sprain prevention for fall 2025. Coming in at number 5, honestly, this list was kind of hard to make because there were 5 shoes that were absolutely out of this world. But coming in at number 5 was the Nike Sabrina 3. Now, the reason that it got so low on the list is because Cushlon is pretty soft foam, but in terms of the length of a lateral flange, this thing goes from like all the way to the midfoot into the tip of the forefoot. I mean, the flange on these things is so incredible. The one thing is, it is made of all rubber, so it might start to wear down over the lifetime of the shoe. Thing is, you do get a top-loaded shank, which is pretty decently long, and a double thickness heel counter, which Nike is known for putting in a lot of their shoes. That's gonna help keep the rear foot stable. Lateral flange is gonna keep the forefoot stable. And with all the cabling here in the forefoot and all the pleats in there, that's a little bit of marketing there, but if it does double over the uppers and give you a little bit more stability, then I am all for it. So honestly, for a shoe, this light, nimble, easy to move around, speedy, the Sabrina 3, Sabrina 2 is good too, but the Sabrina 3, surprising how good it is for lateral containment for a shoe with this profile. All right, and coming in at number 4 is a tie between the Way of Wade All City 13 and 13 Encore, as well as the New Balance two-way V5. Now, it's hard to kind of distinguish between the two because they feel very similar in terms of lateral containment. I like All City 13 and the Encore because you do get a little bit of a flange here at the tip of the forefoot to prevent that kind of when you're up on the balls of your foot from tipping over, as well as just a standard lateral flange. Also in the Encore, you do get a dorsal retention strap for just a little bit more proprioception, a little bit more lockdown there on the forefoot. The two-way line obviously is just, you get Fresh Foam X in the rear foot, which is so stable. Even Fuel Cell is super stable too. Plus the shank that is just so sturdy there. Plus the shoe does have a super wide lateral forefoot. So really you can't go wrong with either of them. And to me, when I've got them on foot and just kind of seeing them, the geometry of them, pretty similar. So either one you get, you're gonna do pretty well. And coming in at number 3 is a shoe that probably is gonna make every one of these videos list, and that is the Anta KT10. Really similar to the Sabrina 3 in that lateral clip flange is so long, but it is more low profile, so the shoe stays pretty nimble. The midsole on them obviously just gives a lot of structure. The uppers are super strong, even though uppers, high tops and mid tops do not stop ankle sprains. It's been disproven 1,000 times, but it does, like I said, like the Sabrinas, have a strong enough upper to kind of complement that midsole, as well as the full length tread pattern, keep it nice and solid on the ground. And coming in at number 2, like I said, this list was pretty hard to distinguish between the top 5, so really any of these that you get are gonna be pretty good. The only ones that I would say might have a little bit of issue like at the end of their life would be the Sabrinas, but just like I said, take it for a grain of salt. Like 2 versus number 1, everything, they're all very, very good. But coming at number 2 is the Joker 1, the Joker 1 GT from 361. Now these ones, the flange isn't like, it doesn't look like the Sabrinas or the KT10, but it is just so broad and fat on the lateral side. Plus, no matter what shank setup you're going for, whether it be the carbon fiber or the plastic version, it doesn't matter. They're both incredibly stable. The Joker 1 GT to me, because of the tread pattern, not the tread pattern, but the tread layout, the full length nature of it and how much of your foot is contacting ground. The geometry of that shoe is just so nice for an ankle sprainer. It just gives you a lot of confidence in terms of proprioception and ground feel, but also not pummeling through the shoe. So really, that could have been a number 1 shoe for sure, but the number 1 shoe, although it has some detriments to it that make it worse for other things, for ankle spraining, it does a really good job. And coming in at number 1, I can't believe I'm saying this again, but it's a LeBron 22. And this one actually has decoupled tread. Now, once again, the 21s and the 20s, both great, and that's another reason why I like these so much, because you got so much choice. But the 22s have one thing they don't have, and that is this saddle on there. And that saddle does add some weight, but it also makes the shoe more bottom heavy. It makes it a little bit more stable. The flange is very similar to the Sabrinas in that it goes all the way to where the tread decouples. Now, that forefoot is really wide on these. This is just stronger rubber versus the Sabrinas. It's just more rubber, I should say. The rubber is the same, but it's just more there, and so it just feels almost impossible to roll these side to side. So that is something I really like about these. But like I said, you got the super strong a top-loaded shank, but then you've also got the double thickness heel counter as well in the Sabrinas. This is basically the Sabrina in terms of the ankle sprain control, just with maybe a little bit more durability in terms of the shoe in general, because it's just got more bracing to it. Sabrina is definitely going to be more nimble. The Joker 1 and the Joker 1 GT, a little bit more nimble in this shoe, but in terms of keeping it solid to the ground, once again, the LeBron 22, coming up really strong, which is, it's interesting when you start really thinking about these videos, and you start thinking about, how am I going to present this video? Which shoes do I really think are going to cut through the top 5? Because it's a lot different versus the ultimate shoe guides where I'm just showing like, okay, here are all the ones I like a lot. When you actually have to drill down and think like, what are the 5 best? You start thinking a little bit different. And it's interesting, these last 2 videos, LeBron 22, 21 and 20s, the retros, or not really retros, but just re-release of them, have really been coming in strong for different ailments. Now, when we start talking about other foot things, they might not be up there, but in terms of these specific foot ailments we've been getting into, doing a pretty darn good job, which I think is interesting. So, love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. Which shoes have you been trusting for ankle sprains? Let me know down below. And if you do want to see which shoes are best for heel pain or preventing heel pain or just making sure the bottom of your foot feels good in your shoes, make sure you click into this video right here. And make sure you are subscribed to the Shoe Garage channel, because that's where all these videos are going to be living. I'll see you in that video.